Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me here in the Fabulous Over 40 at the festival here for this week. I hope everyone's been enjoying all of the presenters. I am just loving all of the wisdom and everything that's been showing up in the group. So many talented ladies for sure. So, all right, let's get started to it. So today, let me just introduce myself. If you missed my little interview with Karen yesterday. My name is Tania Gustafson. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a hormone balance specialist. I work with women aged about 40, 45 to 60, 65 usually is the demographic. Helping women take back control of their health, their hormones, their weight, their mental wellness, and their gut health. It's all actually rooted in the gut. We do this with blood sugar stabilization, bringing down inflammation, and just balancing the body, bringing back everything back into control, all right? So you can have control. And so today I'm going to be talking about carbs are the enemy, or not the enemy rather. Carbs are your energy, not your enemy, and fat is your friend. And these are two things that I think especially women have trouble wrapping their brains around because, you know, we've just been told so many times over decades that, you know, you need to get rid of the carbs and you can't eat fat, right? If that's been you, or if you've been told that, I mean, I was, you know, product of the 90s, I was doing that too. Drop a 1 down below if you kind of grew up in that and you're just like, I was avoiding fat, buying fat-free, all the things, right? Been there, did that. Counting fat grams. Okay, be completely transparent here. I see people joining. Thank you for watching live. I so appreciate you guys, and whoever's watching on the replay, thanks for taking the time. Drop where you're watching from. I always like to see the different places and who all we have joining. So like I was saying, I was that person who, like, you know, wrote everything down on sticky notes like it was my job. You know, like counted the calories, counted the fat grams, all the things, because that's what the world kind of told me to do. And I've been in the health and fitness industry since 1986. It was I'm just going to tell you, and it's still to this day kind of like this, but it's getting better. A lot about fitness and a little teeny bit about health, right? So it's labeled health and fitness, and health is said first, but let me tell you, it's not. It's the other way around, and you kind of have to do a lot of digging on your own. So a lot of the things most of the things that I'm coaching women now to do with nutrition, hormonal balance, the gut health, all the things, it took me 22 years in the industry to learn that. So fast forward, I'm 57. I have 3 grown children, 1 grandson. They're expecting another one, so I get a little granddaughter coming up in August. I'm super excited for that. But for the last 17 years, I have been living this way now, what I coach women in. It's a lifestyle, it's an approach. It's not a diet, it's not crazy things. We don't do diets here. And letting women know, letting people know in general, but mostly women, that you don't have to give up and cut and count and live in that state of deprivation, because nothing thrives in a deficit, right? Not your bank account, not your relationships, certainly not your health, right? And so let's just start off with the carbs. So carbs are not your enemy, they're your energy. So let's just dive in right there. First of all, I'm just going to clear up a little bit of confusion. Maybe this isn't you, but a lot of people, when they come to me, we do a little assessment call, and a lot of women just don't even know that, you know, they think carbs are strictly breads, pasta, cereal, you know, all the things that come in a package, box, bag, can, wrapper. Those are all carbs for sure. But also your fruits and vegetables are your carbs. And those aren't full of nutrients. They're nutrient dense. So when you go on a keto diet, or when you do something that we're taking out the carbs, I often say, well, okay, so you're not eating fruits and vegetables? And sometimes they're not. But most of the time, she'll come back and say, oh no, I'm eating some, I'm eating this, or I'm eating that, and there's probably restrictions around it, but then you're not eliminating carbs, just so you know, okay? Carbs are your fruits and vegetables. They're also those other things, but fruits and vegetables are your most nutrient-dense carbs, and we absolutely need them. And as far as the other things go, the processed ones, the fruit, the breads, the cereals, the pastas, all the things, you can still have those and put your body into balance. There's ways to do that. So the truth is that, carbs are our main source of energy. So we need them to keep our blood sugar balanced and fuel our cells for all the things that we need to do every day. We need 3 components to keep our body balanced. And if we're missing something, it's kind of like a 3-legged stool. You take one away and you're like, it's just not going to hold you up, right? So we need a protein, a fat, and a carbohydrate together in the right portions and the right frequency every day to keep you in balance, okay? And carbs are a big part of that. So if you take out the carb source, number 1, where is your energy going to come from? And number 2, where are all your vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients going to come from? You're going to be supplementing like crazy, like a lot, because that's where you're getting all those, that's where all your nutrient density is coming from. Okay, so very, very important. We need to not pull all of those out. You need to actually have a diverse amount of carbohydrates. So when you diversify and see how many different plants and fruits and vegetables that you can put in, nuts, seeds, all the things, then you're going to nourish your gut. And we're going to be talking about the gut a little bit more tomorrow, but it gives your gut microbiome more diversity, which is a good thing. Okay, it helps to feed all the good bacteria and grow even more good bacteria. So rather than just, you ever notice that sometimes you go grocery shopping and you kind of seem to buy the same things? You get the apples, orange, bananas, broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, right? It's just kind of, we get into a routine. So I like to challenge my clients that when you're doing your shopping, see if you can try something new that you haven't tried before, or try something that you haven't tried for a long time, or something you've always wanted to try. Sort of make it a goal that once a week you're gonna pick something new. And if you really wanna up-level your game, do the 30 plant challenge. Anyone ever heard of the 30 plant challenge? If you have, put number 3 down below, or put 30. Put 30 down below if you've heard of the 30 plant challenge. If you have not, I challenge you to give it a try. So see if you can consume 30 plants in a week. You can repeat them, because 30 different ones is quite a big ask. But every time you have a serving of plants, mark that down and see if you can get to 30 in a week. And you're going to have a nice, and see if you feel any different. See how your energy then even increases. Okay, because you're definitely putting more fuel in the tank, more quality fuel. Okay, so you want to be doing that. So there's different types of carbs too. So there's 3 main types of carbs. All right, that they can support or disrupt your health goals. All right, we've got light carbs, we've got dense carbs, and we've got fatty carbs. Light carbs are nutrient dense, they're lower in calories, they typically have a low glycemic index, which means if you eat them by themselves without the proteins and the fat together that we just talked about a minute ago, you're not going to get as big of a carb spike as you would with something that's got less nutrient value. Okay, does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me a yes down below. Tracking. I will have to come back and check the comments if you're asking questions, because I don't have multiple screens here. All right. So the light carbs and the nutrient dense carbs, so like your fruits and vegetables, they have a gentle rise in blood sugar. They keep you steady, giving you energy throughout the day without crashes. So leafy greens, berries, your non-starchy vegetables like the broccoli, zucchini, peppers, all that kind of stuff, they are the light carbs. They have lots of fiber, they have lots of vitamins and minerals, and they help support the digestion, like I just mentioned. You can feel satisfied when you have them because of the high fiber. Fiber keeps us satiated. It also helps with blood sugar balance and digestion as well too. All right. It also helps to support your metabolism, because blood sugar and metabolism, they go together as well. And then when you're putting some extra good stuff into your gut, it also helps with your mood and your immune function. Okay, so I will talk more about the mood tomorrow with the gut for sure. Dense carbs are the foods that pack a little bit more in terms of energy, so your complex carbohydrates, all right? So they take longer for your body to break down. So those whole grains, the starchy vegetables like your sweet potatoes, your butternut squash, legumes, lentils, all right, things like that. So the dense carbs, you want to add those if you're having, if you're super active all the time, or if you're doing a really hard workouts throughout the week. You get a longer lasting energy source that can power you through. Okay, so you're gonna wanna play with what kind of carbs that you add. So we do need carbs, but knowing what each kind does can help you tweak that. So I know Tammy's on here, and Tammy does a lot of 5K runs and things like that. So she might want to, on a big run day, to make sure that she has some of these complex carbohydrates in her meal prior or after for recovery, right? To bring that energy back up. So it's also good for replacing the glycogen stores in your muscle after a workout. So these carbs are rich in complex sugars. Oh my gosh, I need a drink. Hang on one second here. They're rich in the complex sugars. They digest more slowly than if you had like a bread or a pasta or something, and they keep you full and satisfied as well too. So the fatty carbs are the ones that, okay, they might taste good in the moment. There's a few drawbacks with that though. So they're the refined, the fast digesting. They're usually found in the processed foods and some things with high sugar, things with the not so healthy fats, which we're going to touch on in a minute, like the seed oils and things like chips and pastries and sugary cereals and white bread and any kinds of bread, really. All of those kinds of things are like your fatty carbs, all right? They break down super quick. They cause a rapid spike in blood sugar that's often followed by the energy crash, right? Because what goes up must come down. Just, that's the law. The huge spike and crash, not only it leaves you feeling like fatigued and kind of wiped out, right? And then it leaves you craving more sugar. You want to get your blood sugar up and nice, I call it cruise control. Right? So you want to get it in that cruise controlling zone, like when you're in your car and you're driving in the summertime, you've got cruise control on, you're going for a nice ride, it's sunny, your air conditioning's working, it's great, it feels so great. It's a nice smooth ride, it's very comfortable, right? That's where you want your body to be. Whereas if you hit downtown traffic, Friday afternoon, it's rush hour in the middle of summer, your air conditioning breaks, your water bottle's empty, but you have to pee and you're just like, ah. It's so not comfortable. That's what happens when we have too many of those processy things, those the fatty carbs, and your blood sugar does this, okay? It'd be like, your stop, go in your car and you can't get off the freeway and things are going wrong. That shows up in your body that way. So kind of a good analogy, right? Like I like to say our body, your car in the driveway drives you around town, and this is your vehicle, your body's your vehicle that drives you through life. So it's kind of a good analogy. So the fatty carbs are processed. They're also lower in nutrition. They don't have as many nutrients in there. So say you have the same number of calories in this, great salad or steamed veggie or stir fry or whatever, and then you have the same number of calories in this muffin that you got at Costco. They're not going to have the same nutritional value, which is why I never get my clients to count calories. So that's a whole other talk. But just letting you know the comparison, right? Like you're not getting enough food and enough nutrition to nourish your body at a cellular level. You're just basically filling the gap when you have too many of the fatty carbs. Does that mean you can't enjoy that Costco muffin once in a while? No, absolutely not. But just being aware of what happens when you do, then you can pair it with something better to help your blood sugar be stable. You could, maybe eat more of the healthier foods first so that you would eat less of that Costco muffin. I don't know why I picked Costco muffin, but my kids used to love them when they were little, and we bought them, rarely until I actually dove into the ingredients. And I'm like, no, we're not ever buying those again. So, I'm not poo-pooing on anyone who does. I'm just saying, when you know, you can do better, right? When you know better, you can do better. So not all carbs are created equal, and choosing the right type in the right portions will support your health. It'll help balance your blood sugar. It helps you avoid those crashes and the cravings, because when your blood sugar is unstable, your cravings go up and your energy goes down. Okay, like it's just in reverse of what you want, and your body burns muscle and stores fat. So you want to kind of flip the script on that, right? All right, so just a little recap. For everyday energy, go for the light carbs, those, your fruits and vegetables, the leafy stuff, the brightly colored, the berries, all the things, the seeds, the nuts. Sustain fuel, add your dense carbs, the whole grains, the sweet potatoes, the legumes, especially if you're super active and you're pushing yourself through. And then those occasional indulgences, that's when you're going to put in the fatty carb. And I'm just going to give you a little tip here. If you're having one of those fatty carbs, have it after you have a meal of nice protein and some of those light carbs, and you're going to be satisfied with less. Your blood sugar is going to not go crazy. It's going to come up more than it normally would with the other meal, but it's going to be not so drastic. It's going to be more like a blip in the radar instead of like a huge spike or crash. So if that's helpful, if that's tracking for you, give me a yes down below, okay? Give me a yes if that's tracking. Also, all right, so now we're gonna touch on fat. So we need fat to burn fat. The 90s told us, stop eating fat. Now, fat and sugar give you the flavor in foods. So if the fat's being pulled out, what do you think that they increased it with? What do you think they replaced it with? Sugar, right? Yeah, and sugar also spikes your blood sugar. It's a carbohydrate, so we just talked about that. We know what happens when our blood sugar spikes. Our body stores fat. So although they're telling you it's fat-free and it's, they're telling you it's healthy, it's heart healthy, it's not, because they've taken out one element. And if you're having a fat that's natural, right? So you want to avoid the seed oils, the margarines, things that are like industrially processed. They're not good for you at all. They're actually toxic under heat and moisture. So the vegetable oils. Remember we used to call them vegetable oils when I was a kid? Mazola. Anyone's mom ever used Mazola? Yeah, my mom did. Till I was like getting her on there and saying, no, we need to switch to olive oil. I was telling her this back in 1986 or 87, I think. I was telling her, you need to switch to olive oil. Took a long time before she did, let me tell you. But yeah, make those swaps, because if you're having things like the basil, the margarine, the vegetable oils, which none of which are vegetables, by the way, they're all seeds. So I don't even know how it got that name. I think it was a marketing thing to make you think that it's, full of nutrition, because vegetables are good for you, right? They're not. All those things are not. They are, industrially processed, full of chemicals, toxic under heat and moisture, and they are just endocrine disruptors. So it disrupts your hormones. And for us women in menopause, when your blood sugar is disrupted, when your hormones are disrupted, when your inflammation goes up, all of those symptoms go nuts. They are amplified, and it's not nice. It's not a good experience. And it's definitely not going to make you feel good. So, healthy fats. You can have them with your meats. So things like salmon and steak, like the beef, they inherently have fat with it. Even if you buy a lean cut, it still has some fat in it, and those are good fats. You want to choose not farmed if you're looking at salmon. You want to choose grass-fed if you're looking at the beef, as much as possible. You can't control when you're out, but when you do your shopping. And then for the other, like, you want to go with an avocado oils, olive oils, coconut oil, MCT oil. All of those kinds of things are your healthy fats. Flax is a good one. Chia and hemp both have healthy fats in them. They also have proteins in them as well too. So you can combine different things to get the balance and change up the flavor, change up the texture, add them to different foods, add them to, salads even. And you can really diversify and get more nutritional value in your meals, more nutritional density in your meals by swapping those out. And so fat does not make you fat. Fat's going to help to slow down that digestion, so that when you're having your protein to help with building the muscle and stabilize your blood sugar, and then you're having the carbs, that fat comes in there as well too, and helps and acts as a buffer, so that as the carbs are going up, it's like, oh, it's meeting it here and keeping it in that nice zone. So you get right in there in your cruise control zone. I wish on Facebook Live we could show slides, because I have a really good one for that, but we can't do that on a Facebook Live. So you just have to visualize with me. All right, if you're tracking, if that's helpful to you, drop a comment down below. Just let me know. Did you know anything, did I give you some information about carbs that was useful? Did I give you information about fat that was useful? Drop a carb or a fat or both down below, because I'm going to come back and check these comments later. And if you have any questions, we don't have time on the live to answer them live, although I wish I did. If you type them in and they pop up, I'm just seeing if anything pops up here. I don't think so. I mean, it's not moving on my screen, and I'm not a tech master. I don't want to shut this off right away. So anyway, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. And then tomorrow, come back an hour earlier. Tomorrow I am on at 2 o'clock tomorrow. And I will be talking about how to find your body's love language. So bits and pieces of what I alluded to today, we're going to be bringing in tomorrow. And then today, because we talked so much about food, food is a big part of our lives. Memories are made around the table. And I have always been under the impression that we don't have to come from the place that we shouldn't have to give up things. We should be able to create something better. Our favorite recipes, don't have to give them up. How can we recreate it? How can we add something to it? How can we make it better to serve our body and still serve our souls, right? Food either fuels your body or it fuels your soul, and you need both, okay? It's not food. We don't say food is good or bad. It fuels your body or it fuels your soul. And so today, my free gift for anyone who would like it, please, I have a recipe collection. They're all macro balanced recipes, so it gets your blood sugar stable with all these recipes. All you gotta do is make the recipes show up. It tells you the proteins, fats, and carbs in there and all the things, how to make it. You can print it out if you wanna make a little book yourself, but I will send it to you as a digital file. So drop recipe in the comments. Drop recipe in the comments if you would like this free gift, and I'm happy to send it to you. And I also have a free video on my website at fuelignitethrive.com. I'll come back and drop that in the comments later here after the live. But fuelignitethrive.com, and you can just go there, enter your email, it's free, and you can watch the video, and it will go into a little bit more detail about what I talked about today, and it will have the visuals. So if you're looking for that, go over to the website, fuelignitethrive.com, and click in there and watch that free video. And if you like the recipes that I was talking about today, put your body into balance, eat some delicious food, burn some fat, help to balance those hormones, just drop the word recipe below. I will come back and I will personally reach out to you and send you the recipes, okay? So thank you for joining me here today. It was a pleasure to be here, and I can't wait to see the rest of the speakers this week. Excuse me. And I will be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. PST time. Thanks for joining, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.